Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is April the 3rd, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I will say I am very sleepy, very tired. I did not sleep well last night. I'm going to blame it on the energy drinks that I am now chaining to stay awake right now. But I will say it has been a good day. We got through it all right. It wasn't too grueling. Not a bad day back at work. But let's see here. Um, let's see. After I was podcasting yesterday, I went ahead and cooked. Had the old Mexican beef and rice bowl. Then I went ahead and shaved my head because I just felt like it was about that time. Try to do it about like every few weeks or so. But I just realized I was getting really tired, and I was like, "Hey, you do have extra energy drink that you just bought for the occasion, because I just had one, of course, and so I drank it." And I was like, okay, good. I'm not feeling like too zipped up or anything like that. Actually, I feel like energy drinks don't usually like I don't usually get hyperactive on them. I just get like steady. But I just got to the end of the night. I was like, okay, let's go to sleep. And then 15 minutes later, I literally just woke back up. I was just like, what? And I just couldn't go back to sleep. So I did manage to doze off again and then wake up a couple hours later for work. But anyway, that's more or less where we're at now. Now you're all cut up, and that's why I sound so sleepy. But let me go ahead and do my startup, and we'll try to get through this news, and we'll call it a day. All right. Ooh. Our first story comes from Reuters. Taiwan's strongest earthquake in 25 years kills 9 people, 50 missing. It's Hualien, Taiwan. It's a city where like the epicenter of the earthquake took place. Taiwan's biggest earthquake in at least 25 years killed 9 people on Wednesday and injured more than 900, while 50 workers traveling in minibuses to a hotel in a national park were missing. Some buildings tilted at precarious angles in the mountainous, sparsely populated country of Hualien, near the epicenter of the 7.2 earthquake, which struck just offshore at about 8 a.m. and triggered massive landslides. Definitely the scene looks like something out of, I know I've referenced this movie a little bit, maybe too much, but Inception, when they're doing all the dream bending and you just see the buildings are so stilted and turning, and that's literally what it looks like in Wallin right now. It's very sad and unfortunate, but I will say, at least the silver lining here is that there weren't more people who were killed. I mean, granted, a lot of people who are definitely affected by this, but good that the number wasn't so high in terms of the death toll, at least as we know right now. Let's see, more than 50 aftershocks were recorded. We know that's definitely a big issue, big factor. I know that there are people who couldn't go back into their homes. They had to like camp out outside because you can't go back in. One, because your building's literally hitting a diagonal right now, like a leaning tower of Pisa or something. But also because there could be more aftershocks. Your building could just be giving way. You don't even know, and then it just fully collapses while you're chilling, going to sleep, whatever. So you have to be outside. Let's see here. The earthquake hit a depth of 15.5 kilometers or 9.6 miles as people were headed for work and school, setting off a tsunami warning for southern Japan and the Philippines that was later lifted. So, yeah, yet again, another sign that this could have been a lot worse, even though, once again, that, high number of people injured, lots of property damage. But once again, hearing that the number, at least as of right now, is in single digits for the life loss, that's very good. So let's see here from one disaster. We'll move on to another. See if it boots up for us. From the BBC. Dozens dead in Istanbul nightclub fire. At least 29 people have been killed and one injured in a fire in a nightclub in Turkey. The Masquerade Club in the basement of a high-rise building in Istanbul was closed and being renovated during the day. The fire broke out just after midday, Istanbul Governor Davut Gül said, adding that the cause was unclear. Mr. Gül said the victims of the fire were thought to have been involved in the renovation work. 8 people, including the nightclub manager and a person responsible for the renovations, have had warrants out for their arrest in connection with the fire as investigations continue. 3 of them have been detained, while warrants are outstanding for others. Firefighters and other first responders surrounded this charred and smoking entrance of the club, which occupies 2 floors underneath a 16-story residential building in the city's Gerapitpi, I did not pronounce that correctly, I'm sorry, district. The number of victims has rapidly increased throughout the afternoon, with the governor's office issuing a string of updates. The newly re-elected mayor of Istanbul, Ekrem İmamoğlu, said the club had not applied for the correct construction permit. There's no application to the local municipality for the renovation or a construction regarding the place, as it was 2 floors down from the ground level. The work wasn't visible. And then he offered his condolences on social media. Kind of doing a bit of a segue, but staying in Turkey, just something I wanted to kind of hop on because it was relevant news, and kind of related to İmamoğlu, I'm getting his name wrong, I know. But from CNN, Turkey's Erdogan dealt major election blow as opposition party wins big cities. I just wanted to kind of read this, and then we'll actually just kind of move on to back to the States. But Turkey's local elections on Sunday marked the biggest election defeat for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's Justice and Development, or AK party, as the main opposition claimed victory in key cities including Istanbul and Ankara. So this might be a harbinger of things to come, but it does seem like there was a sweep of, opposing parties against, Erdogan's AK party. So it might be a sign of things to come in terms of, maybe he actually winds up, losing an election and, real power changes, and maybe see some more positive changes in Turkey. But we don't know. I don't want to, obviously say that in stone. But this was, definitely a good sign, seeing, some people who are opposition to, Erdogan and his party actually, getting through an election and coming out positive. So, we'll see. Something that was worth mentioning, but the Istanbul fire to me was more important, just because we don't know how it, whether or not, Erdogan or his party is going to lose in the future. But we did have, this thing right now. So wanted to cover that. But, both are relevant. So here we are, yapping away. Like I said, I want to go to the States. So from CBS News, convicted killer Alex Murdaugh sentenced to 40 years in federal prison for stealing from clients and his law firm. For maybe the last time, Alex Murdaugh, in a prison jumpsuit instead of a suit he used to wear, shuffled into a courtroom Monday in South Carolina and was sentenced to 40 years in federal prison. Murdaugh was punished, this time in federal court, for stealing from clients and his law firm. The 55-year-old disbarred attorney is already serving a life sentence without parole in a state prison for killing his wife and son. A report by federal agents recommended a prison sentence between 17 and a half and just under 22 years. So they said, fuck that shit, double it. The 40-year sentence will be insurance on top of insurance. Along with the life sentence, Murdaugh pleaded guilty and was ordered to spend 27 years in prison in state court on financial crime charges. The federal sentence will run at the same time as his state prison term, and he is likely to have to serve all 40 years if his murder convictions are overturned on appeal. So, I mean, this is kind of insulation for just a guy who's just really fucking bad. Like, I mean, he literally did crimes galore and trying to kind of cover up all of his fraud. What am I saying? Kind of. Covering up all his fraud and schemes and shit that he was doing, more or less on his own clients. I think even to his own, co-workers. And inevitably, he turned his crime on his own family and winds up murdering his wife and son. And it's a whole fucking thing that we've been, covering in and out of. Hopefully you've been keeping up with the Joneses here. It's a very fucking sad affair, and it's also crazy just the chokehold this guy had on just, the general local area and anyone who wanted to talk about this case until it, wind up, becoming a trial. I mean, literally, this shit got so deep, Murdaugh faked his own, like assassination attempt. Like, he hired, like, one of his little homie chromies to, like, shoot him and shit. I mean, shit was running deep. It was looking like a goddamn Fargo movie or some shit. But here we are. It does look like maybe the last, nail in the coffin here. But, we'll see. I know that there's going to be appeals and things of that nature. Apparently there's hidden money, like up to, like, I think $6 million that might be, I think, like, his criminal attorney conspirator might be a part of. We don't know. We can't, it's alleged a little bit there. But, I mean, we'll see. Let's see. What else did I want to pull here? I know there's definitely some lines you could definitely pull. Here we go. Prosecutors are asking to give Murdaugh a harsher sentence because FBI agents think he is not telling the whole truth about what happened to $6 million he stole and whether a so far unnamed attorney helped his criminal schemes. Murdaugh's largest scheme involved the sons of his longtime housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. She died in a fall at the family home, which is honestly sus as hell, just that alone. But Murdaugh promised to take care of the Satterfield's family, then worked with a lawyer friend who pleaded guilty on a scheme to steal $4 million in a wrongful death settlement with the family's insurer. I mean, this dude just lied and lied and lied to everyone and anyone he could, just siphoning money from people who, like, literally were just putting all of their trust in him. So it's very unfortunate. It's very sad. I don't know. I don't want to maybe be too mean here, but I'm not exactly crying any tears for the family because I don't think any of the people in this family, in the Murdaugh family, were nice and clean or anything of the sort. But that doesn't mean that they deserve to die or anything like that. It's just a crazy, string of affairs. I want to say that I don't remember this would have been happening obviously before I was podcasting, but I found out about it as I was podcasting. I was like, oh, okay, I can't wait. I got to get into this shit. So, of course I'm happy to be in the mix yapping about it, but definitely a crazy scene. I really do hope that this is the last time we really see Murdaugh making the news. Really, this kind of came and went. It's kind of a blip on the radar, which I completely understand. I think this is kind of definitely old news to a lot of people. But man, it was big shit, If I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was South Carolina. Big South Carolina news. But yeah, wanted to talk about that Southern Fried situation, and then we're going to talk about Trump to close. It's not really big news or anything like that. Just a little bit of a update on his stock situation, his new venture with Trump Social going public. Let me go ahead and take my last break, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Ooh. All right. From CBS News. Trump's social media company loses billions in value as stock price swings wildly. Former President Donald Trump's fledgling media business is losing its sheen among investors a week after going public, with a sharp reversal in the company's stock pricing, lopping $4 billion off its value. Monday's plunge in Trump Media and Technology Group shares, which debuted on the NASDAQ Composite Index on March 25th under the ticker DJT, after the former president's initials, comes as it disclosed mounting losses in regulatory filing. The company also noted that its accountant had issued a warning that its losses raise substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a growing concern. So, I mean, this is something that, I mean, if you look at any kind of social media platform, they have this issue. It is very hard for a company to go positive in these kind of situations. Usually it requires like a lot of ad money and, a lot of savvy. But essentially, what drummed up all this money for Trump was the attention, the cult of personality that is Trump, and the fact that this is an election year. So, I mean, this shit just rocketed up. It was just kind of like the perfect storm. But I think like the synopsis is this is a lot like a meme stock, like the AMC movie shit that we were doing. What was it in 2021? If I'm not mistaken. I should know. I know we talked about this shit at least a little bit, right? But it's just one of those things where it has like this big bubble, but it's just one of those things where you look at it and it's just gonna pop. Like it's just a matter of when. That being said, I don't think that the pop is going to be so massive that he's going to lose all this money. He's still going to come out with more money than he came into it with. But shares of Trump Media and Technology Group, whose primary asset is the Trump social platform, tumbled 21% on Monday, closing at $48.66, or below its opening price last Monday at $49.90 per share. It also represents a 39% plunge from the stock high of $79.38 on March 26th. So, that being said, I mean, I almost wonder if maybe, let's say Trump, is going along with his campaign, the trial shit, he meanders his way around, and somehow that drums up more publicity and makes it go up. I don't know. I'm definitely not an economist or whatever. But I'd be curious because this is all tied on how well is Donald Trump doing. You know what I mean? If he's doing bad, there's no way the shit is doing good unless he's spinning it in a way for positive attention. Then maybe it is. But if he's looking like a lame ass duck, lame ass wet loser, then obviously this shit's gonna go through the toilet, and people who are betting on this shit are gonna be losing, unless you're trying to short this shit or whatever. Once again, not an economist. I barely know how any of this shit works. Let's see here. Was there anything else I really wanted to pull, though? I know this isn't super big news, but this is a little bit of a fun fact. To be sure, Trump Media continues to maintain a heady market capitalization for a business that's in the red, and that booked just $4 million in revenue last year. Even after Monday's stock plunge, the business is worth $6.7 billion. So still in the billions. Still big. Still with a fucking six. So making it more valuable than companies like Bausch & Lomb, Alcoa Corp, and Harley Davidson. All of which have annual revenue in the billions. So, I mean, we can call it a meme. I can rag on it. But it's still probably making him fucking money. Even if it is dropping and, oscillating around wildly in terms of whether they're going up or down or whatever. So, that's it. That's really all I have for today. Good. I'm glad this wasn't too long of an episode. I know it was a little bit of a slopper, but oh well. Thanks for putting up with me. If you'd like to help out, support the effort financially, I do have a Patreon, patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support the effort, free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials you're on. I'm probably on there too. Hopefully you're subscribed to the YouTube. Really helps out a lot. Hit that like button. Leave a cool, fun comment, would you kindly. Leave a nice review if you are on another platform like Spotify or Apple. 5 stars are great. And sharing's caring. Hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.